Nya D. Hemmings, legendary content creator in the Tower of God community, recently posited a theory/discussion idea that I wanted to jump on board. Nya has been talking about his own thoughts and opinions about Traumerai and his understanding and knowledge of who Bam is. Bam's identity. Does he know who Bam's parents are? Now, if you've seen my reactions, you know that I assumed he did, right? I was like, oh, of course he does. He's a family head. However, Nya has posted a lot about this, and after reviewing the information, I'm starting to doubt myself a lot. So here's the evidence. Nya says Traumerai does not know. If you look at when Jahad first arrived on the hidden floor, Jahad first discovered that Bam was the child of Arlen. Those eyes, I thought I killed you before. Now, this could imply that Jahad was just confirming what he thought, but think about this for a second. We sometimes forget, right, that Jahad killed Bam. He straight up murdered him. And I don't think reanimation and coming back to life is exactly a popular thing in the tower. What, it happened to Bam, then it happened to Arya. That's about it. So it's not like surprising, or it shouldn't be surprising that someone like Jahad didn't know. Now, you could claim that Jahad told everybody, but there's no evidence of this, right? Like, what does Jahad gain out of this? And I've seen comments about this. It's even possible that if Jahad did so, it could look bad for him. Maybe that's why Jahad is doing what he's doing with the Three Orders. Maybe he doesn't want that information to be public knowledge, because it could be bad. The child of his rival and his crush going out there and potentially starting a war, or like just the fact that Jahad failed, like that could be bad. It's an interesting thing. And there's no evidence that he necessarily would have told everybody. And I think if you look at what Traumerai is doing, his actions, it also kind of supports this. Gustang knew who Bam was, so why wouldn't everybody else? Now, there is a point to be made there. However, not only is Gustang very anti-Jahad, Nya makes this point, he's very anti-Jahad, right? So it would make sense that he would potentially look at it from a different perspective. He's done different research, he's very intelligent, he's like definitely I don't know about the smartest, but he's like the most knowledged and researched of the family heads. That's what's implied anyway. But also, I think the bigger piece of evidence here is that Gustang was essentially protecting Garam, and like in a sort of, they came to an understanding, like they're kind of collaborating, right? And Garam is the one who found Arlen's pocket. So I think Garam and Gustang, they're of course working together, but like I think she's relaying this information to him. So it makes even more sense that Gustang knows who Bam is. And Gustang, of course, confirms it. You know, he says, oh, you look whatever, right? He talks to Bam and confirms it the same way Jahad does. So I don't think it's that weird that Gustang knows, but that Traumerai wouldn't know. Again, I thought differently, but after reviewing the evidence, I'm starting to get swayed a little bit. Now, some people have said, does Traumerai care enough? Maybe he just doesn't really care that much, and maybe that's why he hasn't noticed that Bam looks familiar or whatever. That is a possibility. It's also a possibility. Now, Nya doesn't think this, but it's a possibility that Leviathan devoured the memories, right? We've heard it a couple times at this point that Traumerai fed him memories, or somebody, you know, the one who made me eat those disgusting memories or whatever. And Traumerai also said, you know, he showed an emotion he hadn't felt when he saw Leviathan at the nest, or that's what's implied. Traumerai says, I'm used to being betrayed by people who are in love or whatever. So it's like, it's possible. I think that could be the case. Maybe he just wanted to completely forget about the whole V and Arlen thing. It scarred him for whatever reason. I actually think it's pretty likely that could be the case. It's kind of predictable, though, that would be the thing he fed Leviathan, so I'm not sure. It's possible. Now, would Traumerai have offered this child, the child of the two people who started the Great War and all of that, would he offer that child this high position, marrying a former princess of Jahad and being adopted into the family, when he is like the biggest opponent, rival, right? The biggest failure of Jahad? Would Traumerai go that far? Maybe. You could make the argument that Traumerai is gonna, like, you know, make him a Lopobia and kind of fix that. I'm not sure. I'm sort of bringing it up because I don't actually know. Because Traumerai is a pretty big Jahad simp. He even told Bam, if Jahad made like a statement, or if Jahad said, hey, this is what I believe, let's all do this, or let's kill him, right? Traumerai said, I would have killed you. So clearly, Traumerai puts Jahad above his own, but he's saying, since Jahad is he's a little wishy-washy on this, that's why I'm making this decision and offering you a spot in my family. So I think it's possible if Traumerai did know who Bam was, would he even go this far? I'm not even sure. And also, like the rest of the family heads, we see the hands, we see the discussion, right? would they have been so okay with letting him just kind of travel the tower? You look at Edwan, right? It's implied that Edwan says that. Would they have done that if they knew who Bomb was? Maybe, especially someone like Edwan who's very lax, right? But if they knew his identity, it's interesting. I'm really not sure. At the end of the day, you could even say, does it even matter if Traumerai knows who Bomb is? I would say, yeah, it matters quite a bit, especially if when Traumerai says, I'm used to being betrayed, and that directly does pertain to V and Arlen, I think it's really important, right? Like, obviously, all the family heads are deeply connected to everything that happened in the past, and I think discussing it and sort of like keeping in mind that maybe he doesn't know, I think it makes a lot of sense and it opens up a lot of possibilities. Because what if Traumerai does adopt Bomb? Or what if Bomb is forced into this, but then Traumerai learns that he's the child? That could change things. Maybe it doesn't, but it could. I think there's a very high likelihood that it could severely impact Traumerai's plans. I want to emphasize again, this is not me coming up with this idea. Please check out Nya D Hemmings' YouTube channel, and I'll put a link to not only his channel, but a discussion that he had, a full discussion just about this topic. If you want to dive more into it, you want to discuss it more and share it around, like Nya came up with this idea, and at first I was just so default, right? Like, of course he knows, but now I am much more on the Nya opinion, on the Nya theory, than I am on the other side. Thanks for watching, everyone. Check out Nya down below, and subscribe to this channel if you want to see more Tower of God content. I have a lot of ideas, so stay tuned for those. A lot of very fun video concepts, but if you have your own ideas, also leave them down below. I'd love to hear them. And with that being said, I'll see you in my next Tower of God discussion video. Take care.